When the hour of 6:15 having arrived on this November 6th, a Thursday, it is my honor to call to order the special session of the Common Council for the City of Racine. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. If you could please rise as you are able and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. President Horton, did we have any excused absences this evening?
Yes, Your Honor. Alder Perez, to be excused.
Okay, thank you. We'll then move on to public comments. I'll ask the city clerk to read the process before we begin.
The public comment segment is an opportunity for citizens to speak directly to the Common Council. Speakers will limit their remarks to 3 minutes. There shall be no dialogue or interaction between the speaker and elected official or staff. This time is not intended to be a debate or discussion. The Common Council shall not hear personal complaints or attacks against any city employee or elected official, or any matter related to an individual claim, citation, appeal, or lawsuit. Profane, disruptive, threatening, or conduct that otherwise impedes the safe, orderly, and effective conduct of the Common Council meeting is equally unacceptable during the public comment period, as it is during all other portions of city meetings. Candidates for public office may not use this opportunity to campaign for office. Speakers during the public comment period shall follow all the rules of the Common Council and rulings of the chair, including a decision to terminate the remarks if the speaker does not adhere to these rules. Public comment shall be limited to ideas or concerns regarding the City of Racine. We encourage you to submit any detailed concerns in writing to the City Clerk's office or your alderman, where they can be properly documented and directed for response. There will be one speaker this evening, Keith Fair, 1141 Valley View Drive.
I'd like to speak to the elephant in the room. In the last week, we've had 2 murders, shots fired all over the city, businesses being riddled with bullets. And the question is, what are we doing? I hate to use other cities as an example, but the closest one to us is Milwaukee. And when situations like this happen, normally you'll have the police chief, the mayor, somebody, public information officer, somebody out there giving the community information as to what is being proactively done in this community to stop this particular type of violence. But we haven't heard anything. But maybe there's plans ahead. Maybe there's a roadmap to solving the problem. But if there's a roadmap or if there's a plan, at least give the community the knowledge to know that somebody somewhere is being proactive, and what are we doing in the form of transparency and accountability to solve this particular problem, because it has got to epidemic proportion. People are afraid to come out of their house. But if they had information, maybe they would feel a little more secure in their thinking and in their process. I'm asking the mayor, police chief, whoever in these positions up here, give the community information as to what is going on and how we're going to potentially move forward to stop this violence. Thank you.
This concludes the public comment segment.
We'll move on to the next section of the agenda. Alder Horton, would you like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to move and adopt the recommendation of the Committee of the Whole on the items 1152-25 through 1124-75.
So a motion and a second to approve the items as recommended by the Committee of the Whole yesterday evening. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Alder Horton, would you move on to the next item with the budget items on page 4?
What page?
4, item 1077-25.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like a roll call vote on that first item.
The vote's already been committed. All those items will be rolled into the next item, and we will have a roll call on that item. Alder Horton, would you like to make a motion regarding item 1077-25?
Move to approve.
It's a motion to approve item 1077-25. This is the communication sponsored by Mayor Mason submitting the proposed 2026 City of Racine budget consisting of the general fund, special revenue funds, debt service fund, capital project funds, enterprise funds, and internal service funds, associated budget positions, ordinances, and fee schedules as attached and anticipated to be included in adoption of this item, and the recommendations of the committee of the whole that were approved last night. Discussion on this item. Alder Horton, would you like to speak to your motion?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Alder Widener.
Thank you. I would like to speak to this item, seeing we just raced through all the amendments that we tried to make last night. We should have had a separate vote on each one of those amendments this evening as well, and also should have been able to have the opportunity to amend those amendments last night if that's something that this body chose to do. I'm going to speak against adopting this motion for a very simple reason. We have increased the levy $4.5 million for this year. That is a record amount, 5 times the amount that we've increased the levy going back to 2019. Every year it's up about $500,000. This year it's $4.5 million, 5 times what we typically do. So, for example, in 2024, the operating levy was $38,673. In 25, it was $38,008. In 2026, it's up to $40,042,000. That does include the $1.5 million of the referendum that the taxpayers so generously approved to retain the 9 positions that was eliminated by this administration. The big kicker is the debt service that you all need to be aware of. The debt service went from $19,475,000 in 2024 to $20,500,000 last year. This year it is up $2.5 million to $22,881,000. That's a total of $62,923,089 that we will be levying our residents and businesses that own property in the city of Racine. That number does not include the almost $12 million additional levy that we will be taxing our residents, our constituents, in levy from all these TIDs. Half of that is from the 5 neighborhood TIDs that have been created since 2019. So that gives an almost $6 million, if my numbers are accurate, almost $6 million in funds used in the neighborhoods as whatever way that the CDA or the administration wishes. I've said it repeatedly. I have heard this past year from more constituents in 1 year than I have combined in the 20-some years that I have served on this city council regarding the increase in their property taxes that they are continually to experience. Adding $4.5 million plus the almost $12 million from the TIDs is going to create a hardship for our residents who have to, sometimes we hear about the food stamps where people have to make decisions between buying food and paying for their rent or paying for their medication. The same thing is going to happen when they get their property tax bill on Christmas Eve. I would ask my colleagues to join with me in voting down this horrific budget, the worst I have ever seen in my career on Common Council.
Other discussion on item 1077-25. Alder Allen.
I agree with Alder Widener. It is awful that we have to ask our residents to participate and partner with us so that we can offer services to them. It really is. Um, it also requires that we do two things, that we do have a conversation that includes what those services entail. I would say 2 years ago at the latest, I started messaging out that Southeast Wisconsin was the highest recipient of Medicare and Medicaid in the state of Wisconsin. And that when we are looking at how we are voting, we have to take into consideration what that vote impacts, right? And so yes, we did a referendum so that our fire services could continue to be at the standard that we want to see. We actually, on the school board, we did a referendum also so that we could continue to support our public school education. And we did that knowing that there is a surplus of funds at the top of the state that we have been trying to negotiate to come down and help support us provide services to our constituents. So yes, I do agree. It is, but when we have these conversations, again, we've had a lot of our community come forward and stress, for instance, how much they want us to continue funding our community safety program. We know that they came in droves in support of our library as a hub for the Racine community. We only have one library. When we're talking about what we want to offer as a home for our community, I think I've said it a few times that has to include safety, it has to include jobs, and it has to include an ambiance for our families that retain, attract, and sustain our community. And if you are only willing to be comfortable with the majority of our budget going to services that are geared towards law enforcement, but you don't want to provide services or amenities to a community that inspires our people to stay here, then I'm not sure what kind of community we're trying to support. So I guess what I'm saying is, instead of my hearing responses all the time that, well, that's not in my wheelhouse, and I don't see people going to actual community meetings, I don't see people actually taking conscious thought to what people are saying. I'm not saying that we're not responsible for fiscal integrity. I'm saying that our responsibility is twofold. And when people come in front of us and say that they are willing to pay for services that increase their safety, increase their ability to make a living and to have a home here, and for the community demographic that feels that this is not a home that reaches out to them, I think we deserve, or we should have a responsibility to listen to them. So yes, I do appreciate you calling out what our levy is, but I do not appreciate you not recognizing the fact that they are willing to pay for those services.
Other discussion on the budget? This does require a roll call vote. When the clerk calls your name, please vote as you wish.
Alder Frazier. Alder Townsend. Alder Davis. Alder Mack. Alder Jorgensen. Alder Widener. Alder Horton. Alder Allen. Alder Pete. Alder Land. Alder Kelly. Alder Harmon. Alder Pabon. 8 ayes, 5 noes, motion passes.
That motion carries. We have 3 more items that we need to adopt tonight. Moving on to item 0935 at the bottom of page 5. Alder Horton, would you like to make a motion regarding item 0935?
Move to approve.
There's a motion to approve item 0935-25. This is consideration of the proposed 2026 City of Racine wastewater utility operations and maintenance budget and the proposed 2026 to 2035 capital improvement plan. Alder Widener.
Thank you. I have a question. If the water wastewater budget includes the transferring of positions to City Hall, and if that includes funds that are being transferred from the water utility to the City of Racine.
To whom are you directing your question?
Well, I'll leave it up to you, Mr. Chairman, as to who that question should be proposed to.
I
Should
will
it be
refer you-
probably the city administrator?
I'll refer your question to the city clerk.
I would like if maybe the city attorney or city administrator could double check, or maybe even a member of the Water or Wastewater Commission who is on this common council. But last time I took a look at the water wastewater budget, it does not include a position page, and they do not approve positions within that budget. So they only approve funding within that budget, not specific positions like it relates to the common council positions in their budget. But I don't know if the water, wastewater, any of the commissioners, or if the city administrator or attorney would like to double check beyond that one.
I'll ask the wastewater utility director to come to the DS and clarify further if need be. Oh, sorry, one moment. Director Tillis?
Yeah, so those positions are not funded under the wastewater budget.
Okay, great. Other discussion on this item? Seeing none, when the clerk calls your name, please vote as you wish.
Alder Frazier. Alder Townsend. Alder Davis. Alder Mack. Alder Jorgensen. Alder Widener. Alder Horton. Alder Allen. Alder Pete. Alder Land. Alder Kelly. Alder Harmon. Alder Pavone. Twelve ayes, 1 no. Motion passes.
Moving on to the next item, item 0936-25 on page 6. Alder Horton, would you like to make a motion?
Move to approve.
This is the motion regarding item 0936-25, consideration of the 2026 sewer service rates. Any discussion on this item? Alder Weiner.
Thank you. I'm just going to point out that the taxpayers that I represent get their water bill quarterly, and their total fees that they pay on their water bill, a lot of it to the utility, is about $1,000 a year. So I'm going to vote against this because we continue to squeeze the very taxpayers that we are here to represent.
Alder Allen.
I just need a clarification. This originated, these rates that we have, does this go back to that contract that we have with the county regarding our water? And is that the contract that has been in place for over 2 decades?
Yeah, so this is it's not directly, I would say the wastewater agreement is what governs the intergovernmental relationship between the city and the outlying communities. But the rate increase specifically aren't necessarily because of the agreement, it's just the vehicle by which these things are assessed. But the rates don't go up or down per se because of the agreement.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Alder Kelly.
Thank you. Can I just get some clarification on some of these rates, the rate increases? I'm seeing City of Racine 4.5%, and then on the second page, there's a 3.1%. Can somebody kind of give a little bit deeper explanation on that?
I will refer your question to the wastewater utility director, Director Tillis.
Thank you.
Can you tell me which page you're seeing the 4.5?
The attachments overseeing wastewater utility class 2 charges 2026?
Class 2 charges?
Yes.
So class 2 charges are our industrial customers. Class 1 are our residential customers.
Okay, so either one you could speak on, whichever, pick one you want to choose. Class 1.
So our class 1 rates, you're showing a 3.1%. So the utility is not allowed to make a profit. So we project for the previous year what our flows are going to be the next year, and that's our revenue, and then our expenditures are on this side. And whatever we don't cover with our expenditures are either a plus or minus at the end of the year. So at the end of the year, we total that up, and we had some increases on our operating budget, so that's reflected in the 3.1%.
Okay. And I don't have the information in front of me, so I apologize. So would you say, whoever this question might go to, an average increase every year would probably be like 3% for the wastewater? Is that fair to say? Like average?
Yes.
Yes.
But our flows depend a lot on the weather, and we can't know what the weather is, so we have to kind of project on, previous years. So yes, it's kind of an average, but it's very weather dependent.
Right. So I guess the point I just wanted to make, because I just went through this whole exercise at my own municipality, when I was first hired, they had not raised wastewater and storm rates for quite some time. And the impact to the customers was staggering at that point, because one of them was 10 years, the other one was almost 20 years. So if you get those up to speed, it is devastating for the customer. So small incremental to keep up with the cost of running a water and a wastewater plant is, it's unfortunately, as much as I don't like to have to say that, it's just something that is needed in order to keep up with the cost. So I'm unfortunately deep in the minutiae on all that stuff, so I understand that, and I just wanted to make that point. So thank you.
Alder Widener,
Thank you. I have a question for Director Tillis.
please state your question.
Thank you. My question is, each year the utility pays a pilot to the city of Racine. I think that to the tune of about $2.5 million. And is any of the rate increases for either the city of Racine rate users or Caledonia Mount Pleasant, does any of that fund into that annual pilot?
So the pilot, which is payment in lieu of taxes, is done by the water utility.
Okay, so that doesn't have anything to do with this rate increase?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Item 0936-25. Seeing none, when the clerk calls your name, please vote as you wish.
Alder Frazier, Alder Townsend, Alder Davis, Alder Mack, Alder Jorgensen, Alder Widener, Alder Horton, Alder Allen, Alder Pete, Alder Land, Alder Kelly, Alder Harmon, Alder Pabon. 13 ayes, 1 no, motion passes.
Motion carries. Moving on then to our final item 0942-25. Alder Horton, would you like to make a motion?
Move to approve.
This is item 0942-25, consideration of the proposed 2026 City of Racine water utility operations and maintenance budget and the proposed 2026 to 2035 capital improvement plan. Is there a second on this motion? Seconded by Alder Frazier. Discussion on this item. Seeing none, when the clerk calls your name, please vote as you wish.
Alder Frazier, Alder Townsend, Alder Davis, Alder Mack, Alder Jorgensen, Alder Widener, Alder Horton, Alder Allen, Alder Pete, Alder Land, Alder Kelly, Alder Harmon, Alder Pabon. 13 ayes, 1 no, motion passes.
That concludes our agenda. I do want to thank all the alders for the time that we've been able to spend with each other for this budget process. I also really want to thank the staff for the countless amount of hours and time that they spent answering your questions, the public's questions, in a months-long process. Deeply appreciate the work that they've done in this budget and the services they provide to the public on getting this budget done. So with that, does exhaust our agenda. I would entertain a motion to adjourn. A motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Congratulations, everyone.